I'll bend down. I'm here with Brooke Shaden, one of my favorite people and photographers, and we are at Sony's live press event, about to go on stage. We were 2 of 4 artisans picked to be a part of this special project, and I'm so excited that that means we get to show you this video. It's Ra Koh. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Adventure Family, where my husband and I and our kids, we take you all over the world.
I'm off to see the world. It's a beautiful day. You only get one life. Don't let it slip away.
We go to all these wonderful places, but our bread and butter is that we are professional photographers. We have had our own business for about 15 years now, and I am super honored to be one of the original Sony Artisans of Imagery. I've been one of the artisans since 2007, and here's the deal, guys. This video is really fun because this is a first look at Sony's new camera, the A7RIII. Yes, Sony has an A7RIII. It's an insane camera! And I am so excited right now. Brian is driving me to a location to give you a first inside look at Sony's new camera, the A7RIII. A couple weeks ago, Sony gave me a call and they said, hey, we have a new camera coming out. Nobody knows about it, and we'd like you to be one of the 4 photographers that goes and gets shots with this camera. Take this camera and do what you do best. So the last 2 weeks I've been flying all over the country with my family story shoots that I do in the fall, and I have loved the results with this camera. I'm going to show you some of those images in this video. But right now we are headed to a really, really beautiful space. It's a whitewash barn, and we're gonna bring you behind the scenes into doing a photo shoot with a bride and a groom. So Brian's gonna film it and I'm gonna shoot it, and then we're gonna talk to you about some of the great features of the A7RIII, and I know that you're gonna be excited because it's like what we've been wanting. It's what we've been wanting, and it's here, guys. It's for real. So here we go. First look at the A7RIII.
I've got something that you might like. Turn up the bass and turn up the mic. I don't want no boring disco chunk. So buckle up your seatbelt 'cause we're bringing you the
We're here at this beautiful location in Texas where I'm gonna do a photo shoot of a bride and a groom, and just kind of like, work this camera on all different levels. So I've had this camera for the last couple weeks, and I've gone all over the country doing family portrait shoots, and I'm going to show you at the end of this video some of the sample shots that I have taken with the A7RIII. And in working with it, I am convinced that this is the most amazing camera Sony has ever put out for wedding and portraits. Because let me tell you about some of the features that this camera has, why it is truly a professional camera. It can actually shoot in continuous shooting mode, 10 frames a second. So here's an example that I love to do with brides, because every bride wants to twirl in her dress, right? Every woman wants to put on a beautiful dress and twirl. And so I'm having her go around in circles again and again. So think about this. I am literally having her twirl over and over again, and I am shooting in continuous shooting mode at 10 frames a second. But not only that, at high resolution and 42 megapixels in RAW. And I'm not having the camera stall on me. It's not needing to buffer. I mean, it is keeping up with me. It's unbelievable. So with the A7R II, I would often, in one family portrait shoot, I would go through maybe 2 batteries, at least 1.5, and Brian is always teasing me about that. But when I was working with this, doing family shoots, look at this size battery here. Look at the difference in size. So I never had to change my battery because it's just so much bigger and can go so much longer. And that's huge. I don't want to be in the middle of a shoot and all of a sudden have to tell my clients to hold please while I change my battery. The other thing that I love is that it has a dual card slot. And so instead of just having 1 card in there, I can have 2. And this is another big thing, that when you're like finally in that space and in the moment with your subject, and all of a sudden your camera says your card is full, oh, it's like if you're working with kids, they're gone, they're done. And it's hard to get the energy back in a bride and groom, right? And so we came out here to this beautiful location to work with a bride and groom because I just am such a believer in this, having used it the last couple weeks, that I want not only portrait photographers to know what a great camera this is, but wedding as well. So we're gonna give you a look at images from 2 different couples. One is in this barn, and then the other I'm gonna do tomorrow downtown, and we'll show you shots of that as well. And then I'm gonna show you a ton of shots I got of just the kids I've been working with around the US.
You got to be good. Good to your woman. You got to be good. Good.
Isn't she gorgeous? Doesn't she look like she's having the time of her life? And just to be able to capture that for her, whether they're like dancing together or whether she's laughing or they're just like sitting together on this couch. We found this amazing couch upstairs. I guess it's a space where all the groomsmen typically get ready, and I saw the light coming into that room and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to do like this Vanity Fair feeling like portrait in this space. And so her just sitting still in that space and knowing that I am capturing, right, in dynamic range, all the details of the highlights and shadows, but the clarity and the beautiful focus on her face. Doesn't she just look amazing in this? I love this. And then I bring her husband in and he spontaneously kisses her hand. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the dynamics between a bride and a groom.
It's nuts how beautiful that is.
I also really love working with shadows. That's one of my favorite elements in portrait photography because it just brings out, I feel like, more depth and more emotion. But being able to keep focus and keep it accurate, especially with kids that are moving, is vital. And so I was like so happy to see the results of a photo shoot I did the week before in San Francisco, where I had these kids, like a brother and sister, in this little window cubby kind of playing together, and then they were on the bed together. And kids are moving all the time. They're not ever like really sitting still, even though the shot may look like they're sitting still. They're always in motion. And so just to have like the IAF and that fast autofocus keep tracking with the kids in low light, the dynamic range is still there, just like I love in the A7R II. The results I was so happy with. I don't want to go back to the A7R II. I want to, maybe I can get them to like find a way for me to keep the A7R III. Another one of my favorite things to work with is backlight. I love looking for opportunities, whether the sun is like, you know, I can shoot into it, or there's window light that can give me beautiful backlight. So what we did with this bride and groom is we opened up the barn doors just to let in enough sun for that extreme backlight. And I had her stand in between the doors and gently place her hands on either side, one a little higher than the other to give more shape to her body. And I also had her emphasize like her hip being pushed to the side. So it kind of gives her that S curve, that like really feminine flattering line for a woman's body. Her husband was so cute because he was like, yes, I love this photo. I love that hip being pushed out. I love how sexy she looks in this moment. And she just, I mean, she just is stunning. This is one of my favorite shots. So this is in San Francisco. I've worked with this family since mom and dad were engaged. That was the first time I ever did their photos. And so it's always so special when I get to follow a family for several years. They had this little white gate in the middle of a hedge, and it just felt to me like that whole secret garden feel, right? And so I wanted to get a shot of their little girl with her two bunnies underneath her arm, because I thought, oh my gosh, that is the sweetest thing ever. And just like this feeling that she is entering the secret garden, she's looking, she's wondering what's in this magical space. And so this right here is with the 85mm G Master lens, that one of Sony's premium lenses. And I love like what it gave me, the A7R III with this lens straight out of camera. This is literally straight out of camera with no editing. Do you not love this lens and this camera? Just looking at this, can you imagine? Just straight out of camera, no editing, and this is what you get. There are so many other features to the Sony A7R III that I'm not even getting to. You can go to alphauniverse.com and read all about it. I just wanted to hit on some of the features that mean the most to me as a professional portrait photographer. I hope this video was helpful as really a first look at the Sony A7R III, being able to see some of my images straight out of the camera, the quality that you can expect from this camera, as well as going behind the scenes with the bride and groom and what it looks like to, you know, work with them and get the shots that we love. And a big thanks to Sony for giving me the opportunity to be one of the first 4 pro photographers that got to shoot with the A7R III. I love this camera, it's amazing.